Holas.
Bonjour.
This is
What do you got, John? What do you got, buddy?
Guten Tag.
There you go. I'll take it.
okay.
I'll take it. Welcome, guys. Episode number 49.
the Schmovie.
Another whole number
Right.
of Movie Schmovie podcast. My name is Steve. I'm here with Ronald and John. And today we're going to be talking about the newest Disney mega blockbuster that I'm sure will be around all holiday season. Do you want to get into our feature
Well,
review?
before we even do that, there were a couple of news items. One is the Star Wars Disney sale that's been making the news over the
Debacle.
last week. Well, just the idea that, for years people have been saying, just imagine what could be done with this universe if they could pry it away from Lucas. And it seemed like Lucas had become like too aloof and out of touch to ever imagine that someone else might be able to do something interesting with it. You know? And this actually shows a lot more perspective than I thought he had.
Right.
But also just the idea of other directors kind of getting to play in that world. The name that I heard mentioned was Matthew Vaughn.
Yeah.
And that just opens up this possibility of interesting directors that might actually...
You good?
You see, so my fear, like everybody else's, when I saw in the movie circuit, I saw the picture of Disney hovering over all the popular Marvel characters, and they said that Disney took over Marvel. I was fucking scared for my life. And then every movie that came after that point was fucking incredible.
Or at least on the right track for this type of entertainment.
I'm just saying, just think about some of the movies that came out prior to that. Marvel movies, trash, like Daredevil and stuff like that.
Wow, you read my mind.
Oh goodness, that
weird,
movie was
dude.
terrible.
Did I just imagine that, or was there actually an Elektra movie with Jennifer Garner?
There absolutely was. Yeah.
An absolute terrible. So once this happened, I was first angered, but then I was like, the 3 sequels that followed.
The ones that had Lucas's fingerprints all over them. And again, the conventional wisdom was that was him surrounded by yes men, nobody telling him no. Like in the early days, he was more collaborative. I don't know. I mean, again, that story's been told many times, and I feel like I have a Star Wars problem, just in the sense that when I grew up, those movies were so influential on my idea of movies that I keep coming back to them, even though... Whereas I'm able to look at something like The Goonies and say, you liked it when you were 11, but move on. Right. Star Wars has struck a deeper chord. So the notion, I don't know. I found it interesting to think that maybe there's hope for it both to be absolutely beat to death, but also potentially for some interesting films to get made.
They've already been beating it over the head. I mean, Clone Wars is on the Disney Channel. They have
it's impossible to sell that
Disney
property
stuff.
out more than it's been sold out.
They've been using it for a while.
The weird thing was the day that it was announced, I was actually in Florida in Hollywood Studios when I read it on my phone, like 5 minutes after riding the Star Wars ride. So it's kind of appropriate for me to read that at that moment. I mean, I don't know. I kind of was in the mindset, like when you're talking about the Marvel things, I'm not upset about this. Like,
I was never worried about it.
I think it's actually probably a better thing than
absolutely
than it would have been had he continued to just kind of restrain it as he had.
Well, if they'd announced Lucas is going to be making Episode 7 in 2015, I think everyone would have hung their heads and gone, "Oh no, what's he going to do now?" Or just who cares? But hearing that it's going to be taken away, and again, potentially other directors, it's hard not to make that mental list of directors that you would like to see try
get their hands on it.
Star Wars movies.
I mean, the world has been set. I mean, that's the cool part about this franchise. The world has been set, so it's just a matter of somebody taking it and committing to the world. Like, I mean, if Peter Jackson made one,
Guillermo del Toro,
if somebody that cares about environment and sticking to the ideology and mythology behind a franchise, man, it's gonna be nice. I think this one series, I don't even know who's gonna direct it, and it's gonna be better than the last.
I'm not cynical about the idea of what this could be. The only thing that's strange is just the notion of any project entering into that territory where it's at this point it is a franchise. It's not one person's vision. It's not really even one story. It's just something to be revived as often as possible, like James Bond or something. They're just going to try to make one every few years.
Absolutely. And I mean, there's also a really intricate balance though, like, because I mean, a lot of studios have tons of resources and tons of money and they make crap, and not that Disney doesn't do that from time to time, but like your Marvel example is a really great point, like with the Avengers being like probably the biggest the big splash they had with the Avengers. But I think it also attracts talent, and the resource pool that they have. And I mean, the movie that we're going to talk about later, Wreck-It Ralph, I mean, that's another example of Disney pulling talent and pulling resources, pulling story. And I mean, taking a property like Star Wars, if you can kind of mix those resources and those strings that they might be able to pull outside of, George Lucas and his universe and what he wants to do, like you said, all the yes men that say whatever yes to whatever he says. I mean, I think it's cool. I'm really curious to see what happens. I love the idea of even hearing people already like Matthew Vaughn, who I think is really an interesting idea, even if it never came to be.
Well, he's kind of known for dropping out of movies at the last minute.
Yeah. And I mean, I just think it'd be cool to see what kind of talent gets attracted to it, and the different filmmaking styles on a Star Wars universe. I mean, it'd be amazing. I think it'd be really exciting. All right, so we go with that?
Yeah.
There was one other thing that might not take us much time to talk about, but I just feel like it has to be mentioned. If we're talking about Star Wars and we're talking about old properties that are being brought back, the old property that's being brought back is Arnold Schwarzenegger to the role that made him famous in Legend of Conan.
Right.
For 2014. So obviously, this is very forward thinking, but we have to do a deep analysis of this film.
I think this is going to be
2000. Wow,
this is going to be great.
Steve. That gives you 2 years to work on your terrible Arnold Schwarzenegger impression.
I promise you guys, I'll get this down.
2 years to prepare.
Yeah. I will
work on your Schwarzenegger.
I will find it. I'll find the line from one of his movies, and it'll be perfect.
I need Schwarzenegger back in my movies besides terrible. What is it? Ensemble cast action films.
Well, I looked at the record of, I think the executive producer is a guy named Frederick Malmberg. He executive produced Let Me In, which we all agree was pretty good, but he also executive produced the Conan the Barbarian from 2 years ago.
Oh, that's what we're talking about. Yeah, not so good.
So yeah, there you go. Like he's proven that he's absolutely no grasp.
Has to get he's like, before he goes, he needs to get this franchise rebooted. Successfully.
So have you heard about Expendables 3? All the names and that they
I saw Nick Cage and.
Because of course, why not at this point, Nick Cage?
These are.
Who else?
I like what these have. I mean, I have not seen one, but I like what this is becoming. Like, I feel like there aren't any action movies anymore.
I actually read a little snippet interview with Stallone where he referred to it as a saga. So that just goes to show you that his pretensions are alive and well.
Oh, Sly.
His sense of importance.
What? Yeah, a saga.
Rocky, maybe. This, not so
He made it
much.
sound like they're revealing layers of the saga or something. Is what
I learned so much more about him in Expendables too. His character got so deep, so deep.
His character's so layered.
Oh my god,
as a person.
All right, any other news, John?
That's it.
Anything that we saw besides before we get into this deep discussion? What did you see? Brief.
Man with the Iron Fist.
Okay, yeah, you've been waiting forward. You've been waiting forward for that. Yeah, looking forward to it.
Okay, I'll say a couple things. The soundtrack was one of the best soundtracks I've ever heard. It mixes hip hop and classic sort of Chinese music with just random rhythmic. It's a very good soundtrack. The acting's, some people are good, some people are fucking horrific. I'm not going to call out any names. And the story's kind of choppy and weird. But that's how old movies were. Like, old Chinese movies were. Like, the martial arts films were choppy and weird, had weird dialogue, and this had all of that stuff. And it was cool. It was really cool.
How do you measure good filmmaking, though? Like, if you say those films intentionally are made like that?
Well,
it's RZA, right?
Yeah, RZA. And it was co-written with Eli Roth.
Okay, that's right.
Quentin Tarantino produced it, but that doesn't mean anything.
That makes sense, because I'd read somewhere someone referred to it as kind of like the unofficial third Grindhouse.
Yeah, so he kind of went under Quentin Tarantino's wing for about 5 years, and he really didn't have as much to do with this film as he has a Quentin Tarantino stamp or whatever. But it's a weird movie. I mean, but it's fun. It's fun as hell. Like, I think that it's fun enough and it's genuine enough and well written enough that you can enjoy it, have fun with it. It's super violent, super bloody.
Okay.
No nudity, actually. And it's actually done really well. It could have gone for a PG-13 rating, but I think they wanted arms severed and heads cut off, and it was solid. Lucy Liu. It's just a lot of beautiful women.
I love Lucy Liu. I just started watching that new Elementary show.
How was it?
It's pretty solid. I mean, I love the Sherlock Holmes. I mean, Sherlock,
I guess the idea of it is really cool.
But I mean, she's cool, man. She's good in it.
She's a really.
I liked her in last season of Southland.
Yes, well, she got okay, we're not gonna.
But Lucy Liu, good stuff.
Oh man.
All right, there we go with a little wrap up. Now we can kind of sink our teeth into our feature review. Disney Animation Studios proudly presents Wreck-It Ralph. I'm going to just go right now and say it's probably one of my favorite movies of the year. Definitely my favorite animated film of the year. Don't know the last time except for maybe How to Train Your Dragon that I've been excited about an animated film like this.
Right.
And I can't wait to see it again.
Same.
You go.
Best video game movie I've ever seen in my life. Best video game reference movie I've ever seen in my life. One of the best animated movies I've ever seen in my life. So
I take it you liked it too.
Oh man, it's yes. But I mean, I'll get into why later.
Okay, so scratch the surface. John, overall?
I think I agree pretty much completely with both of you as far as the fact that it was a great movie.
Yeah.
The only thing I mean, it's, and this again, this isn't really a statement against it, but my journey with this film was, while I was watching it, to sort of feel like, oh yes, this is exactly as good as I thought it was going to be. I can already tell I'm going to be expected to watch this movie again and again because Henry loved it. My son loved it.
Most importantly, what did he think of it?
And
you've reached a bonus level.
Hey Henry.
What
movie are we going to talk about?
Wreck-It Ralph.
And what did you think of the movie?
I don't know.
That means, did you like it or not?
Yes.
Would you say it was good, really good, great, or the greatest?
Greatest.
The greatest?
Mm-hmm.
That's the best one you've ever seen?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
It's better than Toy Story?
Mm-hmm.
It's better than How to Train Your Dragon?
Yeah.
Wow. You really liked that movie. What was your favorite part of it?
My favorite part, and my favorite part, when they picked Wreck-It Ralph up and you could see Vanellope doing the race.
Oh, at the end when they picked him up and
Yeah. What was your favorite part?
I really liked the part where they made the car together, and Vanellope really liked the car, and Ralph thought she was going to hate it because he thought it looked kind of bad, but she just was so glad to have a car. She liked it. What do you think that movie was about?
A man who smashed houses.
A man who smashes houses?
Yeah. Like, oh, rocket!
So it was just about a man who smashed houses and that was it? Or was there more to it?
More to it.
Who was your favorite character?
My favorite character was Junior Fix-It.
Oh, you like Fix-It Felix?
Yeah, Fix-It Felix. Remember that part when that girl hit him?
Mm-hmm.
And he told her to fix it. They're like, click, fix, fix, fix. That's why they do it together.
Fix. So you think this is the best movie ever made?
Yeah.
You really do?
Mm-hmm. Remember that Spider-Man movie with the Green Goblin Venom? But Doc Ock was not much in it.
Well, we're getting a little off topic. So you would watch that movie again?
Uh-huh.
How many times would you watch Wreck-It Ralph?
I don't know. Maybe 100 years.
That doesn't even make sense, Henry.
I know.
All right. Well, thanks for talking to me about the movie.
You're welcome.
Can you say, as always?
As always.
I haven't finished yet. As always, you've made our day.
As always, you made my day.
It took on that issue of what the trailer sets up for the character, which is his, not wanting to be the bad guy anymore. And I thought the way it approached that was interesting. Like the way that was resolved was not exactly the way you would picture it to be resolved. It was kind of more about accepting yourself and less about trying to change who you are.
Yep, that's a Pixar moral or what.
One thing I noticed about it too was it is a movie by gamers for gamers, but it's not limited to that. Mm-hmm. And the reason why that's so important is you can't reference something as big as video games, commit to it, and then not really be a gamer. You know what I mean? Even if you had some of the people that they had in it, like you saw in the commercial, they had Koopa and Pac-Man. You could see that stuff in the commercial. even if somebody were to put those people in there and weren't gamers and didn't have some of the weird references, like, for example, like this is something that's crazy that nobody may have noticed. So there's a portion in the movie where there's a character that goes into a door with a Nintendo controller. When he goes into the door, he puts in a Contra code. Mm-hmm. That's a game remove. Like it's a wink to people that love games. And if you don't notice these things, like you're not a gamer like that. Like,
the matinee that we went to, there were people behind me saying, speaking the command along with it on the screen. I did that.
It made me like...
I did the same thing.
There must have been 4 or 5 voices spread around the theater in unison that were just saying it and kind of chuckling to themselves.
Yeah.
So even though... Because I played with Atari a lot when I was a kid, and I've always kind of enjoyed popping in on a video game and playing it, but I never really was a big gamer.
Yeah.
So in that sense, I thought that I was going to be kind of shut out of this movie on some level. I didn't feel that way. So maybe...
that's an accomplishment then,
right?
Because you're saying like it's like 4 gamers, 5 gamers.
But like if it's that's the cool part about it is it touches you on a couple levels.
It's just bursting with heart,
and
therefore it doesn't matter. But I think what you're saying is the depth of that. What I would admire would be maybe the flip side of that, which is just the invention that they had, the sort of the way that the world worked. It reminded me again. Keep saying Toy Story because it's sort of like it's a very similar.
It's very
idea.
similar, yeah.
It's that idea. Yeah. Now I never wondered what video game characters did when I was not playing the game, whereas I used to wonder what my toys did when I wasn't around.
Yeah.
But what I was thinking about was particularly the way the idea of like the surge protector and the way the games in the arcade are connected and the kind of stakes.
That was really cool.
So
just
smart.
A few lines of dialogue explain what the stakes are, how if you get trapped in the wrong game, how that's a problem, and the difference between dying in your own game and dying in another game. All of that universe building. Even though I don't want to see them beat this to death with sequel after sequel,
it was done well.
You can't help but think of all the games you didn't get to spend time in that it would have been fun to spend time in. Like that's the only other. If I were going to offer a complaint, well, I have 2. One is just once they get into Sugar Rush. They pretty much spin the rest of the movie there. It was an interesting enough story that it had like layers to it that I didn't really mind it. But I think at about that midpoint in the movie, I was thinking we were going to see a lot more worlds than we did.
Yeah.
And the other is we were talking last time about Rob Riggle and Will Ferrell and these actors who kind of are known for doing what they do, and you kind of get over it at some extent. I'm sort of over Jane Lynch at this point.
Yeah.
I feel like as funny as she is and as good as she is at that, she didn't really. I mean, I had to kind of come around to liking that character, and which I did.
Yeah.
But initially, just having her playing another, tough as nails kind of mean bitch type character, it didn't really do anything for me initially. Yeah. But once the little sort of romantic subplot started kicking in, I think I was kind of charmed by it, and I gave in.
There were some great voice acting surprises. I mean, Sarah Silverman.
Oh, she was great
as Vanellope.
Yeah, she actually managed to bring so much of her comic persona, which I've sort of gotten tired of in recent years, but I still think she's very funny. She brought a lot of her Sarah Silverman-ness to that, but without it being like inappropriate for kids.
Yeah, I mean, there was some
because her comedy is extremely inappropriate.
Inappropriate, but there were like still inappropriate things that were still very funny. Like she said something about something being hidden in the fat of his neck.
Yeah, and
I thought that is such a funny thing to reference in a kids movie.
Well, she also made a reference to herself when she was going to sleep in her little bed. She said, "And I'm bundled up just like a little homeless lady."
Yes.
And I was that felt to me like that sounds like something she would have ad-libbed. That I'm surprised stayed
maybe
in
it
the
was.
movie.
Yeah,
but if we hear little kids all over the country making fun of homeless ladies, I don't know if that's
where it came from.
How did your son react to all the fart and poop references?
Oh, I mean, that's all we talk about around here.
It's comedy gold.
Yeah. That to me, any poop references, I'll immediately laugh.
Hero's Duty.
What's the name? Jack McBrayer. Yes, any poop reference. Seriously, hit the contrast of who Wreck-It Ralph was versus Felix's character.
Yeah,
it was very just lighthearted. He's like
well, it didn't. The movie resisted the temptation to sort of turn Felix into a villain or a blowhard.
Oh, glad.
And even with regard to all the people, I might have liked to see Wreck-It Ralph get a little bit more revenge than he got, but I like that the movie kind of played out in a way that was more about him going and having this other adventure. It wasn't bogged down in that opening, that what you know from the trailer is really only maybe the first 15, 20 minutes of the movie. Yeah. That was really, I thought that was well done. And I think also, we haven't really talked much about it, but just John C. Reilly has turned out to be one of my favorite comic performers of the last few years.
It's crazy. Incredible. I mean, he's so consistent and in so many different settings. You know what I mean? Like, this is a whole different, voice acting. But I mean, beyond the comedies that he's been in, I mean, I don't think I've seen a movie. I mean, in some cases, he's not the star of those films either. He's like the kind of supporting role, but he's obviously the star. But yeah, I don't know. Like, his voice in this film is just perfect for that character. So much. You referenced like all the heart in the film. I mean, from one moment, like him just being so angry and bashing things, the next moment you just feel that how he sounds. Like, you feel how upset and painful. Like when he climbs his pile of bricks in the opening and he gets, it's
what I love is that he tells you it's not as uncomfortable as you might think. He's such a positive guy.
Bricks on himself, like trying not to make you feel bad for him, but he wants you to know how upset he. Man, it's so great.
Well, the scene where he goes to try to horn his way into the party and Felix kind of stonewalls him is what to me was, because it was so funny. I mean, it played like a funny scene on it where the joke's a little bit on Ralph. I mean, you're sort of laughing a little bit at what a kind of loser he is. And that could be so risky, but it never seems mean-spirited because, you're definitely on the side of the big lug who just wants friends. But you totally, I don't know, I thought that stuff was, again, we keep saying this, but when people want to compare something like this, they said it about How to Train Your Dragon. When you compare an animated movie to a Pixar film, what you're talking about is that mixture of innocence and like sophistication. And this movie just, you almost get excited. I mean, I would watch it again right now.
I'm actually like, you guys want to go see it later?
Let's stop this and just go see it.
I think it did a really good job of setting up the story, setting up the world, and then kind of throwing you into it. You know what term made me laugh the entire movie, and for some reason, like it stayed stuck with me.
Is it Going Turbo?
Yes. Yeah. Going Turbo.
I've used it like 4 times.
Going Turbo made me laugh.
I'm trying to bring it into the mainstream.
It's such a funny thing to say, and I loved it. So I guess some of the story is that in this world, if you leave your game, it's considered going turbo, but you don't know what going turbo is, and then down the line they explain it, and when they do, it's done in the funniest way possible. But the term going turbo is used for about maybe an hour into the movie, constantly, and you have no idea what it is. You know it's bad. You know that it's something that's really frowned upon amongst every game character. But it is such a funny term, and that's kind of what it did. It created its own world, and then within it, you're kind of following the logic. When they had a really cool way to explain the rules as they were in this kind of central area that everybody's in before they go to the games at night. They walk past a sign, and Sonic explains, it's like, don't go to another game or you'll wind up dying.
If you die, you won't be regenerated.
Exactly. I thought that was so cool. It's really subtle ways to explain everything in the world without somebody being like, hey, here are the rules. You can't do this, can't do that, can't do that.
Well, the key to that, like I think John was kind of touching on earlier, was like, it's not heavy-handed because it's not any of our main characters doing that.
Yeah.
It was a balance of credibility, like, basically everything you've said, Ronald, about the video game, the video gamer for the video gamer. I'm not a video gamer. Like I used to be when I was a teenager, up through maybe Sega Genesis. I kind of jumped off the ship at that point. But so seeing a lot of characters that I remembered, and even ones that I know exist now that I don't necessarily play, I didn't feel out of the loop at all. But I did feel super excited, like when the Contra code comes up, like I was saying it out loud, or seeing characters that I recognize from other games, like the Street Fighter, like Ken and Ryu going to get a drink when the game was over.
Yeah.
This movie's a little different than your average kids movie in that it tackles some interesting things in some cool ways. Like, I guess identity is one, obviously.
I think everybody tries to do this now with kids movies, but so few people actually nail it, where it's actually, it's actually an interesting story.
It's done in a way that's really cool. And the references to like old video games versus new video games and how they're regarded it's funny how like they would show some of the old characters and they'd be like really choppy and jumpy, and then they'd show the other people they're like smooth and
even
cool.
the richly like the volumetric 3D characters would move in that jerky 8-bit way. That was visually so clever.
Amazing.
It was.
I remember reading an interview with John Lasseter talking about how like that was like some of the biggest challenge of making the film was like having these, you know, modern, like really talented, you know, digital artists that do all these 3D Pixar films. I'm not 3D, but they're, you know, 3-dimensional Pixar films. Like say, okay, make it look 8-bit and make it look real bad, but make it look real good.
Right.
You know, all the residents of the tower where Wreck-It Ralph like would, you know, smash like when they're at their party and they're talking to Ralph, seeing Ralph move so fluidly, but them like they skip frames, like, you know, as they're moving.
Yeah.
I mean, God, that detail is that feels to me like that's another thing that reminds me of like that Pixar touch.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's in a conversation about this film, but more so about the studio and maybe the state of animation in general, I think, you know, this movie is a huge mark. I mean, films like, you know, How to Train Your Dragon is one that I always talk about because, I mean, I love that film. And that was DreamWorks Animation. I think they've taken a step. With that film, they took a step in a different direction, you know, trying to, like Pixar was the exception of the rule, I think more film studios are kind of becoming that exception, that they realize that what works now is that kind of heart, you know, that kind of credibility, that extra time that's spent to make more than just that shiny movie. You know what I mean?
Like DreamWorks is a great example. I mean, like to me, like the difference between something like Shrek, which I really had no time for, and it was full of these really empty pop culture references, and something like How to Train Your Dragon, which, I mean, again, you know, it's got the Henry stamp of approval. I've seen that movie multiple times, but there are moments of that movie that still get me. Like when that kid befriends that dragon for the first time, I get emotionally affected. There's like the way the music works and everything, the acting, I'll call it acting, but you know, these animators have gotten so good at imbuing these pixels with something else, you know, and it's not, to me, I still think that traditional cell hand-drawn animation, if you see that done really well, there's still nothing like that. Yeah. But I don't think that computer-generated animation is, you know, I think that enough people have done it to prove that, yes, you can make a real story with real characters and real heart that is not just for, you know, not just for 5-year-olds.
Right.
Yeah, although there is certainly stuff that is really only for 5-year-olds that still comes out.
But not the poop jokes. That's for all of us.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think for Disney specifically, though, it's a big change, too, or a big... I think, you know, there will be moments that you kind of look back, and I think Tangled kind of took a step for Disney, you know, and kind of continuing their line of princess films. And I mean, even with Pixar dealing with Brave, and that was like their first kind of princess film, you kind of see these two cultures kind of mixing a little more. And I think it's a great thing. I think that Disney, we talked about Disney earlier with Star Wars. I mean, it's a juggernaut. You can't deny it. I mean, I think that their reach and their creative pool is probably, I mean, I don't know how many other studios have the access or the talent working for them that Disney has now with their involvement with Pixar. When you talk about story, I mean, it's few and far between what pool of writers or studios even come close to. I mean, that a story like Pixar offers, you know, we're talking even many live action films that, you know, that get nominated for Best Pictures, you know. Some would argue that maybe a year or two ago, a Pixar film should have been nominated for a Best Picture. And I'd probably be one of those people arguing that. And I think that it's really great that Disney Animation, without Pixar, but working with Pixar, you know, can put the film like this out where you didn't know it was Disney. You would think it was Pixar. You know, I think that's huge. And I think that this movie opening ahead of Tangled, you know, it's Disney's biggest animation opening ever. Working with a filmmaker like Rich Moore, you know, a guy that has background like in The Simpsons and Futurama, you know, that's a whole different element that you bring to the game too. A sense of humor, a style of humor.
Well, you definitely felt that sort of rapid fire, like it didn't quite break the fourth wall, but it would kind of cut to an extreme, like, again, without giving too much away, there's a few moments where they will cut to, you go from the sort of fully realized characters to what the arcade game version of them would look like. And there's a couple of scenes where it was really funny to see like what the outside world, particularly there's something involving the cherries in the Pac-Man game. I thought that visual was great. Like that you then see how it plays out in the sort of quote unquote real world of our characters, but the game image was so funny. Yeah, so silly. I don't know. It seemed like it was. And even when they get to Sugar Rush, just that world is so full of these little... It almost reminded me of... all the little candy characters kind of reminded me. I don't know if you've seen Adventure Time, that cartoon, but just these crazy character designs and these kind of silly worlds that are fully realized and that there's actually real stakes in them and stuff.
It was. Yeah, I'll see it again.
So how? I mean, I was a little surprised. I don't know if you guys were to see that the voice of the King Candy was Alan Tudyk, from Firefly.
Yeah,
I mean,
Dodgeball.
Well, I mean, just the fact. Well,
more importantly, Dodgeball.
Well, in Dodgeball, he was doing a pirate voice. I just think it's funny that he's a guy. I always love it when there's an actor and you don't necessarily think of him as a comedian, but they have like a voice they do.
He clearly was like the Mad Hatter from.
Well, he was doing Ed Wynn. I think Ed Wynn did the voice of the Mad Hatter, but Ed Wynn's like an old vaudevillian who was. You've definitely heard him in cartoons and
he was good. Like.
It was really good, yeah. I mean, it was to the point where I wanted to see who was playing that character at the end, and I was like, "Wait, him?" And then I kind of played the voice back in my mind, and I thought, "Okay, just like you, it'd be like if someone got you to do Keith David 40 years from now in a movie."
He was in Cloud Atlas.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, just as a little side note here, I want you to read these are Keith David lines from Cloud Atlas that I wrote down. And I just want you to this right there. Yeah.
So if you do this, I don't even need to see the movie, right?
Yeah, no.
Is that what it comes from?
If he reads these lines.
Calls himself Bill Smoke.
Yeah.
Keep walking. Whatever you do, don't look back. If I'd wanted to kill you, you'd probably already be dead. He always stumbles on the last couple words. He makes me uncomfortable. He's so creepy. All right, here's the last one.
You got that look your father used to get.
You got that look your father used to get. You got that look. Oh, okay, I get it. You got that same look your father used to get. He makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah, you're sick. All right, it was worth a shot.
Motherfucker.
Oh, man.
Anyway, back to Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah, right back to Wreck-It Ralph. I thought that was great. I thought it was, but one thing that I thought was, it got kind of weird. Like the sugar rush thing was cool, but you know what? I realized why it happened. So many characters, it was unfocused at first. And then you had to kind of realize why everything was happening and why everything. So they had to narrow it down to something. And it had to take place in one or two places and stay there. Because it was getting, like, I felt like it was like all these people and all these like interactions with the people out of town and the bar stuff. I was like, all right, yeah, this is cool, but when is it going to focus? And it did at a perfect time, and it was done well.
Well, I think the thing that took me by surprise was the fact that just that there's a threat to the world of this game that is outside of what's going on emotionally with the characters. And I thought that was pretty well played. A lot of times when you have that kind of halfway into the movie development, it can feel kind of stuck on. But I think when you've spent the first section kind of setting up the world, it's okay to almost imagine, okay, the movie really starts when he gets to Sugar Rush. And then everything that happens after that is sort of, we see the results of all the character work that was done in the beginning.
There were two simultaneous threats that had nothing to do with each other. I always love that. One threat is kind of weird. Two threats that have nothing to do with each other, not even related, like, that was cool to me because like it.
Well, the one actually feeds how the other.
How he handles it, but like it kind of was like, oh, this is around, so I'm gonna use this as well. But he had no idea. Like the villain in the movie had no idea about the first threat, and he kind of used it to assist him. Yeah, but I thought that was really cool. Yeah, that was a solid move on their part.
I mean, front to back, I love the film.
I would say it was genuinely great.
To focus a little more on the front real quick, I wanted to give a shout out to Paperman, the short at the beginning of the film.
Oh, man. Paperman. Whew. Beautiful.
Yeah, incredible.
Beautiful.
I knew there was going to be a short. I didn't really know much about it and what to expect with it. But, I mean, I think it's probably one of my favorites, even of the Pixar shorts that I've seen. And maybe like one or two that I might put ahead of it, but just a really cool story
and a really unique look. I read somewhere that it was sort of almost like a test project for this new animation technique that uses the kind of
it looks like old style and like it's like some depth to it.
Yeah, there were some like layers, almost like paper cutout kind of stuff.
And then it's still sort of drawn and unfinished at the same time.
No, that was really
wow. It's like 2D and CG mixed. It's all kind of layered on top of one another. Yeah. Beautiful short. Awesome story. Great score. I mean, the music in it just had me. honestly, I got a little emotional towards the end of it. I was like, it was great, man. Mm-hmm. And I feel like a lot of like with Pixar's shorts, like some of their filmmakers have come from some of the shorts they produced. John Carr's the guy that did Paperman. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he's doing. I mean, especially if Disney Animation takes off, like it's looking like it might again. Like another
this
revolution.
This Disney animation thing might take off.
Yeah, maybe.
This might be a big thing for that company.
It might, I mean, who knows? It's a little early. But you know what I mean? Like this new generation, like this revitalization of it. I mean, they have this princess area, you know, that they keep going to and they always will, and I think they should. But I mean, I think being able
they gave a real nod to that in this.
Yeah. And I think being able they did, you're right. And I think being able to, you know, break off of it a little bit and kind of dip into that Pixar thing so that, you know, it's not always waiting for that Pixar quality film. Like, oh, it's a Pixar movie, I got to go #1 weekend. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like, oh, this Disney Animation this new breed that they have, it feels like a Pixar film. I mean, they work together. The synergy's there. It's just like now you're starting to really see it. Yeah. And I mean, I think this is the first great example of it. And it is. It makes me excited to see what else they can do. Well, I don't know. Wreck-It Ralph, I loved it. I'm sure that it's probably, I mean, unless I see 3 or 4 more movies before the end of the year, it's probably going to be in my top 10 of the year. I'm sure we'll discuss that later on. But anything else? I'll always hit the sites, movieschmovie.net, iTunes, Mixcloud, Facebook. Any other social media? Pinterest. Don't forget Pinterest.
We're there.
All of our crafty ideas that are going to be on Pinterest. We're posting recipes, Wreck-It Ralph themed recipes, things like that. Not really, but
no.
Ronald's going to make some cupcakes.
I'll make some cupcakes.
Sugar Rush cupcakes. There you go. But you can hit us up on the media sites as always. I don't know. Any questions, suggestions, thoughts? You can email us movieschmovie@gmail.com. And
I got a few things. I'll just get
shoot
to
a couple emails.
Yeah, I'll shoot you a few.
It'll be like the 2 that we get. Yeah, we got to keep that. They're gonna think that we're like inactive. They're gonna shut it down from inactivity. Right. For every comment that we get on our iTunes page, Ronald will read a selected passage from a Keith David film. And that's a promise.
I can't believe he was in that movie.
That's a promise.
You have to understand how I felt when I saw his face. I was like, oh,
you better have been smiling ear to ear.
You can imagine how. Well,
I know John was.
Well, because I was there excitedly writing down lines. And I can't wait to hear Ronald say.
He has such a creepy face.
Whatever you do, don't look back.
Guys, thanks so much for listening. As always, you made our day. Have a good night.
Bye.